How could someone just vanish so completely in an open field surrounded by friends and family? This is 6-year-old Dennis Martin. He, his father, his grandfather, and his older brother Doug were visiting Spence Field in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park on Father's Day weekend in 1969. Dennis, his brother, and a few other kids in the area were playing a game, and Dennis ran behind a bush and never came back out again. There was unfortunately no trace of Dennis. There are a few things found, like some footprints, but they couldn't be tied to Dennis specifically. With there being no trace of Dennis, what followed was the largest manhunt in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park history. I mean, we're talking about 1,400 people made up of volunteers, law enforcement, FBI agents, even the Green Berets were brought in, and it's said that President Nixon was pretty close to the case of the disappearance of Dennis Martin. Mind you, this is all taking place in the Appalachian Mountains where hundreds of people go missing every year. Shortly after Dennis's disappearance, a man named Harold Key came forward and claimed that he and his family heard a very loud and guttural scream nearby. Immediately after that, they said that they saw a man who looked wild-looking and unkempt run into the woods with something slung over his shoulder. Now, the biggest issue with this witness statement is that Harold Key and his family were in an area near Rowan's Creek, which is just not very close to Spence Field. So although they heard this scream and saw a man running into the woods looking like he's trying to avoid detection and something slung over his shoulder, it just doesn't really align with the timeline of events of Dennis's disappearance, the last time he was seen, and the area he was last seen in. Either way, this did fuel a lot of speculation regarding feral people and wild men in the area. To this day, Dennis Martin is still considered a missing person. He has never been found. His remains have never been recovered. And some believe he just wandered into the woods, became disoriented, and unfortunately passed away from the elements, or maybe even an animal attack. Others say he was taken by someone or something because of what Harold Key saw the day of Dennis's disappearance. There are also some conspiracy theories that the Green Berets were actually brought in to clear out a group of feral people who they think might have had something to do with Dennis's disappearance. This could also theoretically explain why President Nixon was so involved from the beginning with Dennis's case. I went down rabbit hole after rabbit hole trying to figure out why the Green Berets were even brought in for Dennis's case, because again, the amount of military force present for a disappearance of a little boy gave me pause simply because of the amount of people that go missing in the Appalachian Mountains every year. I actually do a full deep dive into Dennis Martin's case as well as another mysterious disappearance in the area that happened just 7 years later of a girl named Trini Gibson. So if you're interested in hearing the full story, check out episode 12 of my podcast, Darkly Speaking, and don't forget to follow along for more dark and chilling content.